Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. I am doing great. How are you? Um, Today is Saturday, and I'm a couple hours late. Usually, I stream about 2 hours earlier than this, but I had some real life annoying family members that were in the house I had to get rid of. But yeah, now that everything is back to normal around my house, I can come here and share all the feelings with you. A lot of drama today, lots and lots and lots of drama. Very dramatic news day today. So if you're watching, if you're paying attention, hop in the chat, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. If you're in the Twitch chat, the robot lady will read your stuff out loud. Robot. There she is. But not if you're in YouTube chat. Sorry. No robot on YouTube. I can't get it to work. It's a poorer stream over there, but yeah, I'll still see it, and it'll your chat will still pop up on screen. So hop in there, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. Then we'll all know, and we can all share, and it'll be interactive. It'll be a whole thing. So let's get with the biggest drama first. Let's start with that big drama. Did Donald Trump blow Bill Clinton? Now, crazy question. Why has it popped up in the news? Why have you been hearing about blowing Bubba lately? Well, it's because the Epstein emails, Jeffrey Epstein's brother asked in an email. I'm not going to read it because it's so horribly written and poor, and I can't. It hurts my brain to read these things. Their sentence structure is so bad. You can see that I type poorly, but when I type an email, I go through the spell checker. I make sure the sentence structure is correct, and I send something that is legible. They don't. This is why the billionaires, the millionaires, the billionaires, all the people, all the CEOs are really pushing hard for AI so they can stop poorly writing emails. But that's a different topic. Emails. Jeffrey Epstein's brother sends Jeffrey Epstein an email that says, "Do you have that photo of Donald Trump blowing Bubba?" That's all it says. Who is Bubba? That is an old nickname for Mr. Bill Clinton, who they used to hang out together. I mean, their photos with Donnie with Bill Clinton. They're both wealthy politician types. They're both wealthy, hanging around in elites, chasing women together. It's a thing. Donald was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. You know, he was there. He donated lots of money to Hillary and Bill Clinton over the years. They were friends. They've met. Okay. So did he blow him? I don't know. Let's read what this thing has to say. An email in the Jeffrey Epstein files that references U.S. President Donald Trump blowing Bubba has attracted scrutiny on social media. On Wednesday, U.S. lawmakers released more than 20,000 pages of documents. These are just emails from Epstein's estate. These are not the Epstein files. Very important that everybody understands that. This is just stuff that they had lying around the Epstein estate. This is not the criminal files involved with the cases, which is what the House is trying to get released. They're trying to get the criminal files from courts released to the public, not these emails. These emails are not the Epstein files. Different thing, but related. Some of the documents mention Trump, including one from Epstein's brother Mark, which references photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Bubba is a nickname for former President Bill Clinton, but Mark Epstein told Newsweek the individual was not Clinton. He did not provide any additional details on the identity of Bubba or the meaning of the emails. So it's a bit dramatic and it's a bit crazy, but. So did Slick Willie get his wang mouthified by Donald Trump? I don't know if it's factually true, but it is spiritually true from now on. I will be referring to this as if it actually happened. If the Republicans get to lie constantly about every subject, I get to troll them on this one. They lie about eating cats and the dog. They're eating the cats and the dogs. Trump won in 2020. No, he didn't. They lie about that every day. Donnie says it to you into a TV camera every single day. He tells you that he won in 2020, and he didn't. That's a giant, stupid lie. They lie about Hillary's emails. They lie about Hillary getting 4 million illegal votes. They lie about Hillary's kill list. They lie about Jan 6th being a sightseeing tour. They lie about Ashley Babbitt as if she were a hero and not a terrorist. They lie about what tariffs are, what tariffs do, who pays them. They lie constantly. When prices of groceries go up, Donnie looks into the camera and tells you that they're down. When gas is $5 around my area, he tells you that it's $2. He lies constantly. Millions and billions of lies. I get to troll them on this one. Okay? I assume, and I'm going to continue to assume forever, that Bill tricked Donnie into sucking his dick. Donnie was jealous about all the poon that Bill Clinton gets, and he asked him his secret. He's like, Bill, you got to tell me, what's your secret? How do you get so many ladies? And then Bill was like, well, Donnie, when I went down to Haiti, I had a voodoo witch doctor cast a magic spell on my dong. Wow, that makes so much sense. I've heard about that. How can I get a magic dong? Well, if you give it a little kiss, maybe some of the magic will rub off on you. You know what? That makes a lot of sense too. Come here, big guy. That's how it went down. That's exactly how it went down. And I will continue to tell you this, and I will continue to tell anybody this, that it is absolutely true. For as long as the Republicans tell me that Donald Trump won in 2020, I think it's a fair exchange, honestly. I really do. They get to continue to tell the lie that Donald Trump won in 2020, and I get to continue to tell that story as if it were 100% factually true. It'll be a good time. It'll be fun. What could possibly go wrong? Donnie is fighting really hard to keep these things from being released, and we all know that there's something in there. Is it the stuff about him being hanging around with 15-year-olds in bikinis? Maybe. I don't think that would make him, but what I'm worried about is that this won't ruin his presidency. The people on the right will just justify it any way they want. Megyn Kelly, just a couple of days ago, talked about how it wasn't an 8-year-old. So that's the new Trump sign. I'll put this up on YouTube, but it'd be like, Trump, at least it wasn't an 8-year-old. That could be his new yard sign. It'll be great. Then, so they're saying it was a phebophilia, not pedophilia. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's allowed, is what they're saying. They're horrible, awful people, but they'll justify that. They'll justify it. They'll say he didn't really do any of these things. This is a deep state hoax. He didn't do any of those things. That's Bill Clinton assaulting Donald Trump. And shouldn't you believe all women? And shouldn't you believe the victims of sexual assault like Donald Trump, who was sexually assaulted by Bill Clinton? And they'll turn the whole thing around, and they'll backbend and pretzel twist themselves. All of his MAGA fans will just pretzel twist themselves into a knot that doesn't make any sense until they can support him still. That's what's going to happen to them. The people in the middle might stop paying attention to him and might be more moved by the economics and stuff like that. The groceries are getting higher. The prices haven't gone down. All the promises that he made just aren't happening. But his faithful will backbend to continue to support him no matter what, because he legitimizes and helps their hatred, because that's what they have. The hard MAGA types have only hatred and spite. They don't have anything else. They hate the liberals. They hate the woke. They hate the immigrants. They hate the people on the left. They hate the other countries. They hate the Russians. They hate the Ukrainians. They hate everybody who isn't an American. They hate the gays. They hate the transes. And all they have is spite for those people. So as long as Donald keeps giving them the permission and the ability and the policies that help them be spiteful, they won't abandon him, even if he was willingly super down. Going down on Bill Clinton. They won't abandon him at that point. They'll backbend it. They'll change their mind. They'll readjust, and they'll put it in language that helps them justify what happened. So is this going to change anything? I don't think so. If there's something in there more about Russians, I think that could actually have a bigger effect. I think the reason, and this is just my off the top of the head, complete total speculation, there's something more in those criminal files about him doing real estate deals with Russians. Okay, this is the thing that he always comes back to. Russia, Russia, Russia. The Russia hoax, the Russia hoax. Russia, 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 folks. We've proven it in court that it wasn't true. That's the thing that I think scares him the most. He sold, even in those emails that we have, he sold a $40 million property to a Russian for $100 million. Where's that extra 60 million come from? Oh, that's a bribe, you see. That's how real estate people used to get bribes. That's how you used to have to bribe politicians, is by buying something of theirs that's not worth all that much for way more than it's worth. That was before crypto, of course. You can now just do that with crypto all day long and nobody cares. The Saudis give Trump's kids $2 billion in crypto and everybody's like, yup, just a normal day. Nothing to see here, folks. Keep walking. That Chinese guy, it was a Chinese guy. I'm sorry. It was a Chinese guy, not a Saudi. It was a Chinese guy. Racist Waldo, you're canceled. But yeah, it was a Chinese guy that gave Donnie's kids $2 billion. And then he got pardoned. He bought a $2 billion pardon from the president. That's what he did. Because our president is very, very, very bribable. You can see right here how to lobby Trump with Swiss precision, gifts, gold, and gab. The Swiss government gave him a gold bar, and now he's nice to them. Now he lowers their tariffs. Now he does favors for them. A Rolex desktop clock, a 1 kilogram personalized gold bar. They just gave it to him because that's how it works now. That's how your government works now. That's how it operates. If you do good things for Donnie, he does good things for you. That's it. Even if they're not illegal, even if they would used to have been called a bribe, that's allowed now. That's all there is. That's extortion is the only skill Donnie has. Extortion is what he is referring to when he says, make a deal. We made a deal, folks. We got a great deal. That means he extorted someone. He used his power, authority, and maybe even military might to take something from someone. And they gave him something to make him stop with the military might, with the power and authority of the United States government. They gave him something that he wanted for his benefit. Maybe you'll benefit too. Maybe. It's entirely possible that you would benefit from something along those lines because he is in charge of your country. But that's not the point. That's not the purpose. The purpose is give Donnie nice stuff, like a fat gold bar, and he'll be nice to you in your country. We used to call that bribery, but not anymore. Just how things work now. So yeah, the emails will continue to come out. The emails will be a big deal. And when they pop up, we will talk about them. So lots of drama, lots of fun. Hop in a chat. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. If you like bribery, let me know what bribe we should give him when he comes to kill us all. How do we bribe him to leave us alone and let us talk on the internet? You know, I assume we'll have to at some point. What else is in the news today? Oh yeah, the funding bill. Yeah. The government is back on. Government is back on. Okay, everybody, and the shutdown is over. But these things slipped into the federal government shutdown bill, the government opening bill. So let's listen to this.
In your breakdown, the federal government is back open, but the bill legislators passed to make that happen had some last-minute provisions many people don't know about. First, the bill includes about $200 million in funding for E-7 wedge-tail radar jets, even though the military wants to end that program based on expense and concerns the jets can't withstand modern combat.
Now, why does the government want to build jets that the military doesn't want? Why would they do that? Well, because it is built by American people. It's a jobs program. Some senator, probably in Kentucky, I don't know, but I'm guessing one of the red states, one of those red state senators, one of those fucks, has like 10,000 people building these jets. The government, he takes taxpayer money, gives it to the jet builders, gives it to the people with all the parts, and the Boeing or whatever company builds the damn things, and then they build them. That's jobs. And if that ends because the military says these are shit, we don't like them, we don't want them, then those people lose their jobs. And then that senator gets in trouble for losing 10,000 jobs. So we're just going to do it anyway. So we're going to build them and then throw them away. Sounds a bit wasteful to me. Sounds like waste, fraud, and abuse, if you ask me. But we're going to do it anyway because the people in the Senate don't really care about fraud, waste, or abuse. They care about their next election. They care about their job numbers. So it's got to be done. So the at least like there was who's that guy that said the government should pay people to dig a hole and then one guy to fill it in. I'm going to Google that. I'm going to look it up. Here we go. The idea that the government should pay one man to dig a hole originates from economist John Maynard Keynes, who proposed that during the Great Depression, the government could stimulate economic activity by creating jobs even if the work seems pointless, paying people to dig holes and then fill them back up. Yeah, the government should pay one guy to dig a hole. They should pay another guy to fill it back up. That is Keynesianism. The government spending could kick the economy into overdrive. It could speed things up. You're paying a guy to do a thing that, even if it's not necessary, isn't hurting anybody. And then you pay somebody else to fill in the hole. And both of those guys would then get money and then spend it. And then they would feed their children with that money, even if the thing they did was pointless and stupid. That's what we're doing, but with jets. The government right now is paying 10,000 people to build jets that are going to go in the trash, that are going to do nothing, that are going to be garbage. And the Republicans love that idea because it's their job numbers that are going to benefit from it, so it's fine. What else is in the bill? Let's see what else. There's other things. There's more.
Second, a provision allows senators to bring lawsuits of up to $500,000 if federal law enforcement seizes or subpoenas their data without letting them know. Here's the thing, that provision is retroactive and appears to allow 8 GOP senators to sue over a Justice Department investigation into phone records before the 2021 attack at the Capitol.
So the people who were involved with January 6th are mad that they got investigated for that giant, massive crime that happened. So they knew about the Jan 6 attack. They knew about the people coming up to the Capitol. Probably, maybe. So the DOJ was like, hey, we're looking at your phone records to find out what you knew. It's an investigation into crimes. That sounds like something you could do and you should do. It sounds like a good idea. But they have more rights than you do. They do. The senators and the politicians have more rights than you. They have rights that you don't have. They get to sue the government when the government spies on them. Do you get to do that? No. Do I get to do that? No. You're a pissant. Who the fuck do you think you are to sue the government for spying on you? These senators do. These fancy politicians get to sue the government and steal your tax dollars when the government spies on them for the crimes that they committed. It's horseshit, is what it is. And they're stealing your money. That's the thing about it that irritates me the most, is they're stealing your money. Michael Flynn, DOJ settlement, talks over $50 million claim. He's trying to steal $50 million of your tax dollars because he's a bad guy. He hates you. The Justice Department has been discussing settlements with Michael Flynn and Stefan Passantino, 2 former officials from Donald Trump's first term, who claimed they were owed major payouts from the U.S. government as victims of politically motivated actions. They're spies. This guy's a fucking spy for other countries. He sells your information from your government to other countries for money. And in this specific settlement, he pled guilty. Flynn is seeking $50 million for what he alleges was a wrongful prosecution, a prosecution to which he pled guilty. They asked him, how do you plead? And he said guilty. He's a spy. He's pled guilty. And now he's suing the government for $50 million of your money, $50 million of your dollars. We're all going to have to pitch in some money to give this human piece of shit. The negotiations mark a shift from the Justice Department's position during the Biden administration, when government lawyers successfully fought both cases and are part of the administration's effort to provide legal relief and potential taxpayer-funded compensation to those Trump considers aligned with him or wronged by his perceived political enemies. Donald Trump steals from you on a regular basis. He steals. Kash Patel flies a taxpayer-funded jet to go on dates with his fucking girlfriend, who's probably a spy. She's going to steal all the information that he leaks to her, and then she's going to sell it to foreign countries. They are stealing from you. That's what this is about. Stealing. When Doge was still operating, they stole your information. Are you American? Listening to me right now. If so, Doge stole your information. That's what they did. That's why they were there. They weren't there to create government efficiency. It's a joke. They were there to steal information from the government. They were there to steal every bit of metadata they could so that they could profit their companies. And they did. Elon stole your information. He stole from your country. He was trying to take over the treasury so he could steal directly from the tax dollars. That is what they want to do. That is what this has always been about. Donnie doesn't give a shit about you or your personal fucking morality. Maybe you hate gay people. Maybe you don't on the conservative side. Maybe there's conservatives who think that he's on their side. He's not. He is here to steal. That is all he has ever been doing, is stealing. That's why the tariffs go into a sovereign wealth fund. That's why he's been pushing for a sovereign wealth fund, so that he can take all this tariff money, and tariffs are a tax. So he can take in all the tax money, put into a sovereign wealth fund, and then he can take it. He can just buy stuff that he wants. He can buy stuff for his hotel. He can buy stuff for himself. He can buy stuff for his kids. He can just buy stuff that helps him politically. He can pay for people's campaigns if he feels like it. He can just pay the ICE Gestapo anytime he feels like it with that money. And now he's building a golden ballroom, and people are paying to do that for him too. Stealing, bribery is what he is all about. That's his only skill, is bribery and extortion. There are two sides to the same coin. If you are demanding someone bribe you, it's extortion. If you are taking the bribes and then giving out benefits, that's bribery. But they feel like they have to give you that bribe, or else they can't play ball. That's extortion. So that's his entire modus operandi is bribery and extortion. That's all there is. And these people know it. These people are totally on board. Michael Flynn, the criminal, the spy, the anti-American zealot that he is trying to steal from you. But there is a third thing. Here's the third thing.
This apparently infuriated Speaker Mike Johnson, who said a bill to repeal it will be fast-tracked.
Yeah, unless he gets told not to do that, in which he won't.
And lastly, this one has potentially billions of dollars in impact. The bill closed a so-called loophole in the Farm Bill that federally legalized hemp products like Delta-9 and Delta-8. This means nearly every consumable hemp product currently on the market would be banned in November of 2026. This could jeopardize more than 300,000 jobs nationwide and more than $1.5 billion in lost tax revenue, including millions here in Louisiana. There are plans to replace this total ban with regulation.
Maybe they'll replace it with regulation later.
Instead, in the scramble to reopen the government, the fine print may cost taxpayers even more money.
So why would they do that? Well, I'll tell you why. Mitch McConnell suggested this one for two reasons. One, Mitch McConnell hates marijuana. He is an old ass boomer who hates marijuana and thinks it's the devil weed and the devil's lettuce, and the Mary Jane is just a poison that's making children eat their babies. He buys into all the propaganda, but also he was paid a ton of money from liquor lobbyists, beer lobbyists, wine lobbyists, because the kids, they don't drink as much as they used to. And that's hurting their bottom line. So they need to buy a senator, Mitch McConnell, and convince him to stop all that wacky tobacco, all that THC stuff, all that hemp stuff. The kids are doing that instead of drinking wine like they should. The kids are doing wacky tobacco instead of drinking our delicious hop soda. So we have to buy a senator and put an end to that. That is what senators do. I hate to break this to you. They don't do democracy. Not anymore. Senators sell their votes. Whoever gives them the most money and gives them the plan is who they follow. What was his name? I just said his name. Mitch McConnell has been paid to make your life worse, and he will. If you enjoy these products, and we all voted, and every time this stuff comes up for a vote, the people say, yes, we allow the hemp and the THC and the cannabis products. We like that. Every time it comes up for a vote, people say yes. But that gets denied. That gets shot down because it hurts somebody else's bottom line. And that somebody else bought a politician, bought a senator. It's how the system works now. I'm sorry to tell you, they're not doing democracy. They're not listening to you, and they're doing what you suggest to them. They're not listening to you. Tell them how the system ought to operate and how the world should be. No. They listen to the corporations. They listen to the companies. They listen to the donors. They listen to the think tanks. Boo! KBP surprised me on Twitch. Sorry, KBP, I can't do kick streams anymore. The site just doesn't function anymore. I know how much you hate Twitch and hate Jeff Bezos, but Kick doesn't function any longer. So Mitch McConnell doesn't work for you. He doesn't work for the state of Kentucky. He doesn't work for the people, of the people, for the people, by the people. He works for donations. And if you want to have anything pass, you have to rally together all the money you can and give it to a senator. Give it to the DNC. Give it to the RNC. Give it to somebody. Give them a big fat stack of dollars. I know, right? You can't have that anymore, KBP. You can't. You don't get that anymore because your use of the hemp is cutting into the alcohol profits. We can't allow that. Profits are not allowed to go down in America. The only crime that exists in America is profit going down. That's the crime. That's the thing that people should go to jail for, in their eyes. Not in my eyes, but. And if you want things done, you have to tie together all this money in a big old bow and give it to a senator and say, this is money is for passing something that we want. They'll listen to that. It's the only thing they do listen to. But you can't put together more money than 10 alcohol lobbyists. You can't. You can't put together more money than the RNC or the DNC can collect. Doesn't work. The system is fundamentally broken, and it is broken because of money. Capitalism is poisoning our democracy. It has been for the last 20 years at least. It was always pretty bad, but over the last 20 years, it's gotten worse with the Citizens United, the super PACs, and the crypto. Those three things, all capitalism. Super PACs are things that collect money. Citizens United is a Supreme Court decision that money equals speech, and so you're allowed to give as much as you want. And crypto, where they just anonymously give billions of dollars to these senators and these presidents. And any politician has crypto. All the politicians have crypto now. And money is the only thing that matters. Republicans might actually care about the Epstein files now that Trump might have done something gay. Way worse than the PDF files. Yeah, absolutely right that maybe he accidentally blew Bubba. And I still think he tricked him into it. I think Slick Willie could have tricked him into it. I did a skit at the very beginning of the stream. You should go watch it, where I did both their voices, and I think Slick Willie just kind of tricked him into it. He's a smart guy. He is. He's a smooth talker. You know what I'm saying? He's a old Billy is a smooth talker. He can talk the pants off of a person, and so he probably did that to Trump too. And I think that's hilarious. I don't care if it's true. Honestly, I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. It's spiritually true to me. Okay, so I'm going to keep saying it was true. Absolutely true. J.D. Vance fucked a couch, and Donald Trump sucked Bill Clinton's dick. He did. It's a fact. I feel like it's true, and so it is. If every time a conservative tells me that Hillary's emails and Donnie won in 2020, guess what? He sucked Bill Clinton's dick. But it's only fair that they get to lie about everything, and I get to lie about one thing. I think that's a fair compromise. Anywho, and if you don't want to rewind the stream, I'm going to turn it into a YouTube video, so you can watch it on YouTube. What is next on the list of newses? So we got that. Okay, so Trump said something stupid about healthcare again. He always does, but this is only in audio form, and I want to show it here. And then I'll do a funny little sketch because I've got a whole bit written about it, but I have to do some work first. So let's listen to what he has to say. First of all, where's the button? There's the button.
Healthcare subsidies is a good question. So Obamacare, which is the Unaffordable Care Act, it is totally unaffordable. You see the kind of money the insurance companies are making. Hundreds of billions of dollars. Their stock is up over 1,000%.
Now he's almost got a point here. Almost. He accidentally stumbles into leftism for like a minute, but then he stumbles back out. Don't worry.
Over a relatively short period of time. What we're going to be doing, what I'm going to be recommending, not this. Obamacare is a disaster. Far too expensive and lousy health care. We're going to give the money to the people to buy their own health care. And the kind of money that we give to the insurance companies is more than going to take care of it. People are going to be able to buy their own health insurance, and it's going to be great health care, and they're going to get paid by the government. The government will be one of the greatest deals this country's ever made. So instead of giving it to insurance companies, big, fat, bloated insurance companies, we're giving the money directly to the people to buy their own health care.
Won't Americans buy it from insurance companies?
Won't Americans buy it from insurance companies? If you give them money for insurance, won't they give that money for insurance to the insurance company?
Some may. I mean, they'll be negotiating prices. It's really free enterprise. They'll be, you can do it through an insurance company. You can also buy it direct. They have savings accounts. They have a lot of different ways of buying health care.
Another question.
Maybe they'll give that money for health insurance to a health insurance provider. Maybe they'll negotiate. Maybe they'll give it to somebody else. Maybe they'll just put it in a high yield savings account and then buy their appendectomies that way. He's so stupid. God, he doesn't know how anything works. He doesn't know how anything works. He doesn't know what health insurance is. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what health insurance is. He doesn't know how people get it. He doesn't know what the ACA is. He doesn't know what the ACA subsidies are. He does not know anything. The only thing he can do is say things to get on the headlines. That's his only power. This is his only superpower, is being able to create a headline for tomorrow. That's it. That's all he's got. He doesn't know what any of these things are. He doesn't know how the government operates. He doesn't know what laws are. He doesn't know what the Supreme Court does. He doesn't know what the difference between the executive and the legislative. He doesn't know any of that. Doesn't need to know any of that. That's nerd shit. Okay? Knowing things is nerd shit. He feels it from his gut. You see? He knows all of these things ahead of time. And this is going to lead to something incredibly stupid, but I'm going to workshop it out with you. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to add stick with me here, because this is going to be fun. We're going to add an image. We're going to call it Doctor. Okay, I'm making YouTube videos live on air, and you're here to see it. Won't that be fun? I'm going to cut all this out when I make the YouTube video. So we go to here. We go to Doctor. Cancel. Not that one. I made one that was a PNG. Where's the Doctor PNG? No, it's in my downloads. You're right. Good call. Downloads. Doctor. There we go. I got my doctor hat. See? I am a doctor now. See that? Look at that. I'm a doctor now. Okay? And don't you forget it. As Dr. Waldo to you. Thank you. So I am now a medical doctor. So let me see. I wrote a whole jokey skit about this. Okay. Hey, doctor, my chest hurts right up here. It really hurts to breathe. Oh, yeah, you know what? That sounds like a spontaneous pneumothorax, commonly called a collapsed lung. We're going to have to go in and operate. Well, how much is that going to run me? Operating room costs, anesthetic, labor costs. But we're running a deal this month on your first 50 stitches are free. So we're looking at around, my estimate would be about $37,000. Ouch. Doc, that's pretty pricey. What if we skip the anesthetic and we go Civil War style, where I just come in blackout drunk on whiskey? For you, I could knock off $10,000 for that. So we're looking at $27,000, right about. Well, let me shop around a bit, hit up some other hospitals, see what the Catholic hospitals, see how their prices are going this time of year. I've heard good things about the Catholic hospitals. Hang on. Don't leave yet. Let me call the operating room and talk to their manager for a minute. See if we can work something out. Okay, I guess I'll just stand here in the waiting room for 5 minutes drinking shitty coffee. And then 5 minutes later, okay. I called the operating room. They're very packed right now, but they, and you're going to have to act on this real quick because they have someone trying to get their gallstones removed today, and he is just throwing money around to make it happen. So the OR manager, I talked to my manager, they agreed to bring it down to $500 payments every month for the next 60 months. Deal. Pleasure doing business with you. Now let's call your bank and run your credit scores. See if we can, then we'll sign some paperwork and get you into the operating room. Anyway, that's what Donnie has planned for you. That is what he wants you to do. He wants you to negotiate with your doctor. He wants you to negotiate with somebody to give you health insurance because the health insurance companies can't be trusted. Donnie, if you're negotiating for health insurance, it's got to be with a health insurance company. If they're not a health insurance company now, they will be once you start negotiating how to get health insurance from them. They will be providing you with health insurance at that point. It's so dumb. It's so bad. He just hates Obama. That's what it is. Obamacare is not a good product either. It's not good enough. The government pays half of your stuff. You pay half of your stuff. Both of those halves go to an insurance company, which shouldn't exist. Insurance companies should not exist. They are a scam. They are a giant, money-sucking, life-ending scam. On you, on me, on everyone. They should not exist. Their CEOs make billions, and the less medicine they give out, the less medical treatment they give out, the more they make money. The more profit they make, the less you get. That's how it works. That's horseshit. It's nonsense. It's madness. All of it should be outlawed. Our grandchildren will look back at us like we're fucking idiots. They're going to put the whole pieces together. They're going to look at it and be like, wait, so you guys gave them a bunch of money every month? And then when you got sick, they had the option to tell you no and then give you nothing? We'll be like, yeah, that's how it worked. Sure was fun, derp. That's what we're doing now, and it's stupid. Donnie's going to fix it by giving you the money. That's his plan right now. Give you the money. Giving it directly to the health insurance company through Obamacare was the Obamacare plan. But he's going to not give them the money. He's going to give you the money and let you give it to them. That doesn't change anything. Even if everybody did exactly that, and they won't because they're all poor, and most of the people needing this stuff are poor people who don't have money. If they got an extra $100 a month, they'd have spent it, and someone would take it from them. They would use it to pay their goddamn bills, or their electricity bill, or pay for all that food and the beef prices that have gone up, and the coffee prices that now have a tariff. That's what they'll do with it. Most of the people that I know are barely clinging on now. And if they got $100 more, they would spend it immediately. The ACA puts it into a way, it puts it together in a way that you can't spend it on something else through your poor choices. And that's a responsible thing to do. But he was talking about health savings accounts too, towards the end of that clip there. He was talking about health savings accounts. You can the government will give you money. You are expected to put it into a bank, because the banks love that shit, and accrue very minor amounts of interest, and the bank gets to then loan your money out to buy more stock, because they're fucking criminals. Banks are also a giant scam. Then when you have an appendectomy, or you need your collapsed lung to be fixed, you take the money out of that account and give it to the doctor. Okay, well, what if it costs a lot? What if you don't have enough? Well, it's your fault now, isn't it? That's the game the Republicans are going to play. They're going to give you $100 a month, and then when it takes your surgery is going to cost $37,000, they're going to ask you why you didn't save up enough. Why didn't you put 100? So why didn't you put 3,000 months worth of money into the savings account? 3,700 months is how much that would take. How many years is that? 3,700 months. Probably longer than you've been alive. 3,700 divided by 12 is 308 years. Why didn't you put 308 years worth of savings into your savings account for your appendectomy? I mean, this sounds like a you problem. Have you tried not being poor? Have you tried making more money? Have you tried being ridiculously wealthy through stock exchanges? Have you tried? Have you even attempted a crypto scam lately? I mean, honestly, what's wrong with you? You should do a rug pull. Those things are always generating revenue. So you should do that instead of, working. It's a scam. Everything's a scam. We live everything in America right now is a scam, including the goddamn website I'm talking to you on. They're going to show you a commercial here in a minute, hoping that you'll buy it. And then maybe, if you stick around through that commercial, they'll give me a nickel. It's the scam. And if you want to avoid those commercials, give me $4 in the subscription. And then they will also get $4. And then you'll get to skip the ads. Everything is a scam. Everything. Crypto, the government, the economy, everything is a scam. It didn't used to be this way. But as soon as investors became the most important people in the country, everything became scamified. Because that's all that matters right now. Investors. They run the world that we live in right now. I'm not happy about it. I don't want them to run the world, but they do. If it loses investors' money, it doesn't get done. If it makes investors money, even if it's illegal and terrible and immoral and poisonous and deadly and gets people killed, it will be done. Because the investors are all that matters. That stock price going up is what matters. That's what needs to be done. Whatever gets the profit, whatever raises that bottom line, that is what gets done in this country. And we can't do anything about it until we control the capitalism. We control the capitalist hellscape that we're in. You can't do that with more capitalism. It doesn't work. What the hell else is in the news? Where did my button go? Yeah, let's keep talking about the government reopened. A lot of people are asking Chuck Schumer to step down, and I think that's a good idea. Chuck Schumer should quit, but would his imaginary friends agree? I clicked on this one because of his imaginary friends. I love talking about Chuck Schumer and his imaginary friends. Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader, has a pair of very sweet imaginary friends. They're a middle-class couple named Joe and Eileen Bailey. They live in Long Island. At one point, the imaginary couple who feature in his 2007 book positively American, were called the O'Reillys. According to The Hill, one Schumer aide said the name then was changed because the publisher thought O'Reilly was too ethnic. It's Irish. You don't want Irish people all up in here. Another aide said that claim was false, and Schumer just wanted a name that sounded more national, not Irish. Naming strategy aside, the key point here is that Schumer has said he runs all his policy decisions by this completely fictional couple. He referred to them hundreds of times throughout his political career. So I think this is hilarious that he has imaginary friends in his head that agree with him all the time. Do you think they disagree with him ever? No, of course not. They're in his head, man. He has his own religion. The imaginary people in his head. This is what conservative people do with Jesus. They have an imaginary Jesus in their head that agrees with them about everything. Every mistake they've ever made wasn't their fault, says the imaginary Jesus in their head. Every hatred they have is legitimate, says the imaginary Jesus in their head. Every crime they've ever committed is somebody else's fault, says the imaginary Jesus in their head. This is conservatism. An imaginary person in your head telling you what you want to hear. He is a conservative. He should not be in charge of the Democrats. He's definitely not a leftist. The Democrats are centrists. I wish they were left, but they're not. They're centrists. With that in mind, you can probably thank the Baileys for the latest Democratic disaster. The U.S. government has just emerged from its longest shutdown in history. About 700,000 federal employees worked without pay, desperately needed food benefits, and were disrupted. Court cases were delayed, national parks closed, and flights got canceled. All this pain was supposed to be in service of the very specific gain. Senate Democrats triggered the shutdown because they wanted to take a stand on health care. 24 million people who get their health coverage through the Affordable Care Act, marketplaces, known as Obamacare. That's the only reason that Donnie hates it. Dude, that's the only reason Donnie hates it. It's the only reason he hates it, because it has Obama's name on it. He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't understand what it does. He doesn't know what the health coverage is. He doesn't understand the marketplaces. He just knows it has Obama's name on it, so it must die. They're going to see their premiums double after an enhanced tax credit expires at the end of the year. The Democrats want to extend these credits. The Republicans have refused to commit to a vote on the issue. So Donnie's plan that we listened to a few minutes ago was, I want to give the people money. Well, the Democrats want to give the people money. And he's like, no, not like that. You have to give it to the people so that they can give it to the companies. It doesn't make any sense. It's madness. It's nonsense. He does not know what he's talking about. And they caved. And then this is just talking about how much of a wiener he is. About how he was supposed to protect them. Senator Schumer caved on protecting people from losing their health insurance. There are 20 million people in this country who are about to see a huge premium hike, and we got no concession. We need Medicare for all, and we need a politics of morality and truth-telling. This includes a moral voice on Gaza and stopping bombs to Netanyahu. His time is up. Okay, so I don't know, Ro Khanna will wedge that into every issue, which is fine. He's correct about it. But a politics of morality. And that's not what the Republicans do anymore. They claim to be the moral party, but they're not. They have no morality. They have no ethics. They have no principles. And you can see that right here. Here's some more lack of morality. Faith leader Michael Wolff, what is he, a pastor or is he a minister at the Lake Street Church of Evanston, is detained by Illinois State Police during a protest against immigration actions outside the Broadview ICE facility in Chicago, Illinois. So here we have a video of it too. Here we go. Reverend's getting arrested.
This is wrong. I'm here because there's torture in that facility. It's a concentration camp, and because my conscience calls me to do it. What's happening here is evil, and the Illinois State Police are complicit in it. They're evil themselves.
Hey guys. Hey conservatives. Hey conservatives, listen. When you're arresting reverends and pastors, you're probably the bad guys. I'm an edgy atheist. I know this. And you know this. And so are you probably. But when you start arresting the pastors, the reverends, the people with the little thing around their neck, the little white thing there, you're probably on the wrong side. Okay? Think about it. What is that guy supposed to represent? Peace, love, hope, faith, all that shit. And he is telling you that you're wrong. Conservatives, this religious man is telling you you're wrong. Does that register to them? No, it doesn't, because they hate. Conservatism is about hatred now. It's about spite. It's not about anything else. It is just hatred, spite for the people that are not, according to them, people. We can see some more of that right here. Here we go. This happened about a month ago. There was a raid, a dramatic midnight raid. I covered it about a month ago. It was all over the news that ICE kicked in the doors and dragged children out into the street. They dragged women out naked and unclothed into the street, and they wrestled all these people to the ground. They made a really kick-ass video about it. They really did. And nobody was charged with any crime. Because it wasn't about charging people with crime. It wasn't about getting people into the system who were hiding from the law. This was about making kick-ass videos. This was about scaring the immigrants within our country into self-deporting, leaving the country, and never coming back. It was about keeping other people from coming to our country through a kick-ass video. That is what plays in the president's mind, in the people, especially the executive branch, all the people within the executive branch, him, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Stephen Miller, the Nazi. They love television. They think it's real. If you see it on a TV, it's real. And so they put all of these people, all of these ICE agents, into this building for a raid, and it looks badass. And they put some kick-ass guitar music over there. They put some rockin' music over the top of it, and it makes a cool TikTok. It was a giant waste of your tax money, and it hurt innocent people, but it made a really good TikTok, you guys, and that's what matters. That's what they care about. The Chicago raid, agents repelled from the helicopter to raid an apartment complex filled with Tren de Aragua gangsters. ProPublica found little to support the government's claims. There were no gang members there. Federal officials declined to release the names of 37 immigrants detained in the raid. ProPublica has identified 21 of them and spoken with a dozen. Immigration officials said they arrested just 2 members of Tren de Aragua. ProPublica talked with one of it and found no criminal records of his past. You can actually be a member of a gang. You can just hang out with them all you want to. You can have all of their tattoos. But if you don't commit any crimes, you haven't committed any crimes. You can get a giant Tren de Aragua tattoo across your forehead. And if you don't break any laws, you're not a criminal. Conservatives don't comprehend this. They cannot wrap their heads around the idea that crimes aren't, you're not born a criminal. They don't know these things. Crimes are things that you do, not who you are. They think that anybody who is from Venezuela is Tren de Aragua and is a criminal and needs to be harmed. Doesn't belong on our soil. Their blood does not belong on our soil. We'll come to talk about that, more of that here in just a minute. On the night of the raid, heavily armed federal agents zip-tied Johnny Manuel Caicedo Ferreira's hands behind his back, marched him out of the Chicago apartment building, and put him against the wall to question him. As a Black Hawk helicopter roared overhead, the slender 28-year-old immigrant from Venezuela answered softly, his eyes darting to a television crew invited to film the raid. So it's such a dangerous and important thing that they had time to bring a television crew. Couldn't have been an emergency. Next to Caicedo, I don't know how to speak anything other than Southern English. Masked Border Patrol agents inspected another man's tattoos and asked him if he belonged to Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang that the Trump administration had designated a terrorist group. Until that moment, Saucedo only interacted with law enforcement, and his 2.5 years in the United States had been a traffic stop 2 weeks earlier for driving without a license or insurance, according to the records we reviewed. Chicago police had run a background check on him and found no prior arrests, no warrants, and no evidence that he was in a gang. Saucedo said he was a pending asylum application, a steady job at a taco joint, and a girlfriend whose daughter attended elementary school across the street. None of that mattered. The U.S. government paraded him and his neighbors in front of the cameras and called their arrest a spectacular victory against terrorism. But later, after the cameras had gone, prosecutors didn't charge Saucedo with a crime. They didn't accuse him of being a terrorist, and after a brief hearing in immigration court, the government sent him back to the country he had fled 9 years earlier. I lost everything, he said in a phone interview from his mother's home in Venezuelan city, Valencia. For those fools, everyone from Venezuela is a criminal. For those fools, everyone from Venezuela is a criminal. And that is what they want. That is what they expect. That is conservatism, baby. That's what MAGA is now. Everyone who isn't of our blood does not belong on this soil. They are fascists. Blood and soil is the bedrock foundation of MAGA. You cannot change it. You can't convince them through intelligent argument. You can't go to them with solid economic figures, telling them how immigration is actually good for America. You can't explain that to them. Blood and soil is their starting point. That is their beginning bedrock foundation. They build everything else on top of that. And that is why I call them fascists, because they are doing fascism. Blood and soil rhetoric is fascist. Let's get this over a little bit. If I were a better streamer, I would have done that sooner. Soon afterward, President Trump's administration released a sickly produced video. See, the kick-ass video, I told you. Of the operation, officials said that they had captured 2 confirmed members of Tren de Aragua, including one on a terrorist watch list, Stephen Miller, in the White House. Homeland Security advisor and architect of the national immigration crackdown declared that the building was filled with TDA terrorists, that the raid had saved God knows how many lives, and that it was one of the most successful law enforcement operations we've seen in this country. Nobody was prosecuted. Nobody committed any crimes. I wanted to watch the kick-ass video. Where'd the kick-ass video go? Look at all those scary people. Look at them. They're so scary. Be afraid. Hey, you Nebraska corn farmer, you need to be scared. These people who live in an apartment. There you go. See? Kick-ass video department. Put out a kick-ass video. Don't you feel better now? Doesn't that make you feel so good? That they're out there protecting you from people? All those people asleep in their homes that they paid rent to. They work during the day and they pay their rent to a landlord who owns that building. They're out there. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They're out there sleeping in an apartment. Kick-ass videos. is all they care about. That's why Donnie wants to start doing the nuclear testing. Huge waste of money, gigantic waste of money and resources, and harmful for the environment. It will hurt you and your children. It will hurt your grandchildren to do more nuclear testing, but it looks really rad. Okay, that's the argument. Okay, is on the left. We say it's a huge waste of money. It'll hurt the environment. It'll hurt our children's environment. It'll hurt our grandchildren's environment. It just doesn't do anything. We already know how the nukes work. We don't want more nuclear weapons. We want fewer of them because they will murder us all. And then Donnie's like, it'll make a really good video. It's going to look so good on TV. It's going to look so good when we send this TikTok of a nuclear bomb going off to North Korea. They're going to love it. This propaganda is really just the stuff of the 80s dystopia in the movies. Yeah, it is. It has been consistent all year and shocks me every time. How other people don't see through this is beyond me. Well, they like the videos. The people who eat up the 80s movie dystopia, the people who eat up propaganda don't know what's going on. They don't pay attention. I talk about the median voter all the time, but the median voter watches football and then watches The Masked Singer and then goes to work and then comes home. And that's it. That's all they do, and they don't pay attention. Only lunatics watch live streamers. I'm sorry to let you know, you're not a normal person, Malachi. You're a lunatic. If you didn't know already, anybody who watches a YouTube live streamer or any other type of political live streamer is a crazy person to begin with. So they're not you and me. They're Valor, very weird. Everybody knows Valor. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you know. I'm glad I'm not breaking that to you. But anybody who is paying attention to these things is a bit of a crazy person anyway already. They have ideas. They have stuff like that. The normies don't watch this stuff. They don't watch CNN. They barely watch the local news. They barely have any idea. They don't know who their senator is. They don't know who their representative in Congress is. They don't know how many votes is. They can't explain to you what the Electoral College is. They don't know how the justice system works or why the DOJ should be separate from the president, or why the president should be telling the head of the DOJ what to do on a daily basis. They can't explain any of that. They don't know any of that stuff. So they don't know what to do about that, They can't make sense of any of these things. So they just default to their feelings. They just react to whatever's happening. And cool videos make them feel good. Cool bumper stickers, drill baby drill, is short, pithy, and wrong, and they love it, So that's why that's what we need to do as people on the left. We need short, pithy, correct statements. Blowing Bubba. That's a good one. He was busy blowing Bubba. Donnie didn't have time to lower tariffs. He was blowing Bubba. See, it's short, it's pithy, it's wrong, but it works. Minion memes. I know it's stupid, but minion memes on Facebook have more swaying power on a large amount of Americans than a 1 hour long fact-filled discussion. And I'm not happy about that, but I just know that that's the way it is. So kick-ass video, we got this guy, we got the kick-ass video. What is next? Okay, so let's, it's Chicago. Same thing. The judges are letting the people out because they haven't committed any crimes.
Legal development in President Trump's aggressive immigration crackdown in Chicago. A federal judge has ordered the release of hundreds of migrants arrested during
You're so right, and thus have awoken my doomer self.
I know. It's doomer, Valerie. It really is. It's miserable to recognize it, but to be a realist, you have to be a masochist as well. To be truthful and real and factual, you have to be a bit of a masochist. So, and then we have to get through that. You're a doomer now, but if you keep on going you can be an optimist and a doomer, you'll get through it. It's like teenage atheists, when you turn 19 and you're like, nah, the whole church is a lie and everything that they told me was wrong. You turn into a little what's the word? Angsttheist. You're angsty and an atheist, so you're an angsttheist. I wonder if the robot can say that word. Angsttheist.
Angstiest.
There you go. but you get better. I was too at 19. I was an angsty little atheist, and then I got through it, and now I get to be fun and chipper and have fun and troll people. So there is hope. You're doomer now, but hang on, you can get better. I promise. It'll be better. Anyway, what the hell are we talking? Judge orders the release of hundreds of immigrants.
The administration's Operation Midway Blitz. The judge appeared skeptical that the large number arrested had committed crimes, saying, quote, "It seems highly unlikely that they are drug traffickers or gang members or the
highly unlikely
assorted ne'er-do-wells ICE has claimed are the worst of the worst." MSNBC's Nnamdi Egwanwu is joining us outside an ICE facility near Chicago. Nnamdi, we see protesters are...
So yeah, the protesters are still happening outside this place. And that's what I predicted this years ago. I said, if there is any ICE facility, the news will find out where it's at, the protesters will be outside, and they will surround the place. And then we'll have cameras pointed at the damn place, and we'll have drones flying around overhead. And shit will go wrong. This is where the violence is popping off, is in front of this one specific place. ICE comes out, they hit people with their cars, they pepper spray everybody, they tackle and arrest reverends and people of the cloth. And that only brings more people tomorrow. And then more people show up, and then more people show up, and then violence breaks out. And then the ICE members are going to kill someone. And then Donald Trump is going to pardon them because they were doing his bidding. I think we got some more to listen to here.
Are back at it today. What more do we know about who is expected to be released and when?
Well, Anna, I can tell you that ruling we saw this week has certainly motivated protesters here. Several I spoke to today cited that specifically as sort of fueling their energy.
They won't even get charges
but as far as who we may see released today.
Right, and you won't know who it was because he's wearing a mask.
Right now, potentially about 13 people that we know were detained since June as part of the administration's ramped up immigration operations. Now, to put this in perspective, there are about 3,000 people, the government said, according to legal filing, had been detained as a part of that operation. Of that group, there are only 13 still detained that both the government and the plaintiffs in this case, which were nonprofit groups representing some of these detainees, agree were wrongfully arrested. Now, a broader group, about 600 plus people, the government has said were arrested here since June, don't have mandatory detention orders, which means they didn't commit crimes that are considered serious, think burglary, larceny, arson, and didn't already have final orders for removal. Now, those 600 people, by today, the government will have to provide their name and their threat levels, and by next Friday, those individuals, the subset of that group that was deemed not a high safety risk, has to be released. So we could see potentially then those hundreds of migrants released. Now,
because they're not dangerous, they're just human beings.
Greg Bovino, the head of Border Patrol, responded to this ruling yesterday. I want to play you a little bit of what he had to say about all of this.
And this is coming up. Where is he?
Whether they were...
That's Greg Bovino, a fascist, and we'll listen to what he has to say. But he is a fascist. He's going to do some blood and soil rhetoric. Listen for it.
Whether they were criminals or individuals that were taking jobs from Americans, you name it, that's what they were doing. And I'll tell you what's going to happen is we're going to go even harder on the streets. If he releases those 650, we're going to apprehend 1,650 on the streets of Chicago.
So that's Greg Bovino. He's a fascist. Hi, John K. We're talking about fascism. Hop in. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're feeling. Bovino's a fascist. He's suggesting that someone who has the wrong blood is not allowed to have a job on American soil. This is why, if a political argument can be brought down to blood and soil, it's a fascist argument. Don't do that. He's saying America for Americans. If you have the wrong blood, you cannot be employed on this soil. People who do have the wrong blood for our soil are exactly the same as criminals and will be harmed by state-sponsored violence. That is what he's telling you. He sees no difference between a murderer and a middle-aged man working at a construction site with no criminal record. There is no difference between those two people in his eyes because they have the wrong blood. If you listened to conservative rhetoric, when during the last campaign, they talked a lot about migrant crime, Donnie called it. They went into gory details of nice white women being brutalized by people born elsewhere. And then they try and lump all of the immigrants, people who have never committed crimes, even the ones who haven't committed crimes, they get lumped in there with these actual murderers. And the innocent people are just working to feed their families. Bovino here, the fascist, is trying to convince the middle of the country to be afraid. Ignore all the economic data suggesting that immigration is good for the economy. Ignore the fact that the Constitution gives them rights. Ignore the fact that their children born here are American citizens. Ignore the sociological data that suggests that they and their children will integrate into a larger American culture. Ignore all that. Bovino wants you to ignore all that, to take away their human rights so they can be sent to a concentration camp in Guatemala or Djibouti or some damn place. He doesn't care where, as long as it's not American soil. This is why I call them the Gestapo. This is why I will continue to compare them to Nazis. Their ideology is centered on blood and soil. And then we'll turn that into a YouTube video. And then, so if you missed anything, if you came in late, hop on over to the YouTube, and you can watch that when I turn it into a video in the next day or two. So that's what I do here. If you're hopping in, I just yell at the camera a little bit, bring up the news, and then turn it into a YouTube video. I edit out all the ums and the uhs and the pauses and the awkward pauses. I have a software that does that for me, and then I turn it into a YouTube video. So if you ever miss anything, go on over to the YouTube link and watch it. You can do that at the YouTube link right there. And if you're on YouTube, you're already watching it on YouTube. So, but if you're on Twitch, you can watch it on YouTube. There you go. Then let's see. Is there anything? There's more drama. Oh my God! How could there be any more drama, Waldo? There is. There is still more drama. You ready for where are the drama llamas? Let's get some drama llamas. Let me put some drama llamas in chat. If you're in Twitch chat, you can have drama llamas in chat. See how cool? Drama llamas.
Wish I was subbed.
Oh, is that one subbed? I don't think it is. Shinsinto, is that a sub only? Shinsinto's not subbed to me. He's too poor. I don't think you have to be subbed to do the drama llama. Just a follower. I think that's a follower one. Valor. There it is. Look at all those drama llamas. Yeah, I think I have like 3 or 4 that are just you have to be a follower on Twitch before you can use the drama llama. And I think there's one other one. What is it? It's the blind spot, the conservative blind spots. So if you see a conservative doing the blind spot, you can do the conservative blind spot or the Pikachu. And I think there's one more. Let me see. What did I make it? Yeah, Emo Waldo. I don't get that one very often, but there's Emo Waldo. KBP photoshopped me to have black hair and black eyeliner and a cross drawn on my upside down cross drawn on my head. You can barely see it, but that's if I'm being emo and anti-Christianity, you can post that one up. It's a good time. and the shocked Pikachu, but everybody knows shocked Pikachu. It's always a good one. So yeah, that's Twitch. Okay, drama. We got the drama llamas. We got them out. What is the drama? The drama is that. Oops, where did I gotta find the right link. Oh, here we go. Maytag is abandoning Donald Trump. Oh my God. Oh my God. Maytag, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene might be abandoning Donald Trump. And I had a tweet about it. Where did the tweet thingy go? I swear. I had it up. Now I got to find the damn thing again. Damn it. I have so many tabs open that I close them and I don't intend to. And then I have to go and find it again. But Donnie was making up, he made up a nickname for her, and it was good. Now I gotta find it again. God, I suck at everything. I'm so bad as a streamer. Where are you? Where are you? Come on. Damn it, I should have liked it. And then it would be in my liked comments. I know I saw you today. Where are you at? I saw this
Classic
this morning.
Don, always giving top-tier nicknames.
Yeah, but he did a bad job. Here we go. All right. So, okay, this is the one I wanted. Why did this not get lifted up? So, Donnie is mad at Marjorie Taylor Greene, and he called her Marjorie Taylor Brown because green grass turns brown when it begins to rot. Shit nickname, Donnie. Valor. He's usually pretty good at it, but this one flopped. Calling her Marjorie Taylor Brown. Lightweight Congressman Marjorie Taylor Brown. Green grass turns brown when it begins to rot. Betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left, performed poorly on the pathetic View, and became a rhino that we all know she always was. Just another fake politician, no different from Rand Paul Jr., Thomas Massey, who got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name only rhino. Make America great again. Yeah, it's such a bad one, but he workshopped it. Okay, you guys, he did get better. Marjorie Trader Greene is a disgrace to our great Republican Party. This one's better because you get to keep the MTG. You see the MTG, which is her initials. Instead of Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's Marjorie Trader Greene. Much better. So he's still workshopping it. He's still working on it. He's still trying to get it right. But I think this one's a lot better. He brought it back. Yeah, he did. And this is apparently how he does it. He just sits with this blonde girl and then he just spits fucking hatred and nonsense and bullshit. And then she types it because he can't see and he can't type on a computer. Honestly, we know he can't read, So there is some rumors. There's some drama that Maytag and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Maytag wanted to run for the Senate in Georgia. And Donnie told her no. And now she's mad. Also, she is a true believer in the MAGA stuff. Donnie uses every bit of language to empower himself. When he promised during the campaign to release the Epstein files, that's so he could get stupid people to vote for him. When he promised to lower their prices, that was to get stupid people to vote for him. When he promised to lower taxes and lower gas prices and end the war in one day, in the Russian war in one day, that was to get stupid people to vote for him. It wasn't because he had any plans. It wasn't because he knew how to do any of that. He didn't even know what most of that shit was. He just says it because it gets him applause. He is a parrot. And I don't mean that like in the usual, he just repeats things. I mean, you can train one of those gray macaws to like know that this is plastic. Have you ever seen one of those gray macaws? They touch the thing with their beak and they say plastic. And then you give them a thing and then they touch it and they're like metal. And they can see colors and stuff like that. They can be trained to do that. But they can't pour a glass of water. They can't. You can tell them that something is a fork, but that doesn't mean they can cook an omelet with it. They are very smart as animals go. They can be trained to do a lot of things, but I think Donnie's trained. He's a trained animal. He's trained to be TV. He's trained to be on TV. I wonder if Reagan would keep doing his bullshit if he knew it would pave the way for American Sailor. Well, again, he didn't know what was coming. And his stuff was just about making money as well. I mean, everything is his fault. You can blame anything you want on Reagan, and that's fine. If it's bad for America, you feel free to blame it on Reagan. You can if you try hard enough. I could stub my toe tomorrow and blame it on Ronald Reagan somehow. I can work it. But yeah, Donnie's just a trained animal. He's not thinking. He doesn't know what most of the words mean. He just says the words without knowing their definition, without knowing how they fit together, without knowing how the system works. He just says it. He's a trained speaking beast. He's an animal that's trained to speak. And then because she is turning on him, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's where I was going. I got off topic talking about gray macaws. Maytag really believes this stuff. She really does believe the bullshit he's been feeding her. Because she's stupid. She's kind of dumb. So she believes it. She thinks that these are all actually good ideas, not just talking points for getting elected. She's not in the upper parts of the Republicans who know that they're lying to get stupid people to vote for them. She's one of the stupid people. And she accidentally won. She wandered her way into a House seat. Now she's trying to convince the people on top of her to do the things that they said. And they're like, no, honey, that was bullshit to get votes. She doesn't know that. So she's trying to get these things done. And when she tries to get them done, she runs afoul of Donald Trump, and who just knows it's bullshit. So he's mad at her. She's mad at him. And she's dumping on him. Now, ready for some more drama. Jasmine Crockett to Marjorie Taylor Greene on Trump's fallout. I told you not to trust him, she says. The Texas Democrat couldn't resist commenting on President Donald Trump's rift with a firebrand right-winger. Jasmine Crockett weighed in on President Donald Trump's ongoing spat with Maytag with a message for the right-wing congresswoman that is supportive in its own way. This almost feels like a moment where Marge should phone a friend. Here's what her whole thing is. I told you, I'm going to put on my Texas woman voice, so don't cancel me. This almost feels like a moment where Marge should phone a friend. I'm here for you, girl. I told you not to trust him. All he cares about is himself and protecting pedos. He never loved you. My granny always said, be with the man that loves you more than you love him. So, stupid eggs. That's what she said. The girls are not fighting. The girls are coming together to fight Donald Trump. This is great news. This is fantastic news. That's why I wanted the drama llamas, because now she's got somebody who's on her side, and it's Crockett, who used to be her enemy. And Donnie, who used to be her friend, is now her enemy. This is classic WB high school teenager TV show stuff. Okay. Have you ever watched any WB TV show? I think my wife's favorite was One Tree Hill. It's filled with this shit, best enemies, now they're friends, and friends are now enemies. It's a whole thing. It's very dramatic, very fun. Girls love it. And this could bond them. They could be a superpower. I would vote, honestly, not kidding, for Crockett for president, MTG as vice president. I'm willing to take that bet. Vice presidents don't do all that much. So I'd be willing to vote for that. And they would win because the center would go for it. You get the both flavors. You get the chocolate and the peanut butter mixed together to make a beautiful, delicious Reese's cup. That would be great. So that's some more drama. That's fun. That's silly. We're going to close that one, and then we're going to talk about boats. Who wants to talk about boats? If you're watching, hop in the chat. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Go on over to the YouTube page and leave a break the thumb on the thumbs up, smash the bell, hurt the subscribe button, and spread some hatred in the comments, because that is what powers the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm is powered by hatred. Doesn't matter what you're hating, as long as you're on YouTube hating things. Go to YouTube, hate some stuff, hate me, hate Donnie, hate Marjorie Taylor Greene, hate Jasmine Crockett. I don't care. As long as you're hating something on Waldo's YouTube page, he benefits from the YouTube algorithm. Yes, boats. Let's talk about boats. We keep blowing them up. According to the Secretary of War, head LARPer in charge, the President Trump ordered action, and the Department of War is delivering. Today, I am announcing Operation Southern Spear, led by Joint Task Force Southern Spear and Southcom. This mission defends our homeland, removes narco-terrorists from the hemisphere, and secures our homeland from the drugs that are taking people's lives, that are killing our people. The Western Hemisphere is America's neighborhood, and we will protect it. We're going to need another kick-ass video. So that is old Pete Hegseth, the white nationalist who is just striking boats. Secret boat strike memo justifies killings by claiming the target is drugs, not people. You stupid liberals. God, you misunderstand everything. You dumb libcocks. You don't understand anything. We're not shooting the people in the boats. We're shooting the drugs in the boats. And if the people also get hit and killed, that's their fault, isn't it? You idiots, you rubes. We're blowing up the drugs. That's their legal argument. That's the argument they're making in front of judges.
Collateral damage.
Collateral damage. That's their fault. We told them that we're blowing up the drugs, and if you stand 5 feet next to the drugs, then you get blown up too. That's your damn decision, isn't it? I didn't murder you. I just fired a gun into the air. After telling you that I was going to fire the gun at this direction. And then you were still standing there. This is your fault at this point. Says the United States government, says the head of the War Department. In a memo promising legal immunity for those who kill alleged drug traffickers, the Trump administration floated an
Same
unusual
logic
legal
as
theory.
Hamas uses kids as human shields, so we shoot through the child.
Absolutely right. That is an actual argument that the Israeli government has used before. We have to shoot those children, those Palestinian children, because Hamas was hiding behind them. You know, there was a Hamas member in that hospital. That's why we had to blow up the entire hospital, along with all the other people that were there. You know, if you harbor one Hamas member in a hospital of 1,000 people, it's kind of your fault, is what fascist governments say. And our fascist government is doing the exact same thing. Why did this come about? Why did this have to be talked about? And that's because the military members know they're doing things wrong. Amid mounting questions from senior military and civilian lawyers about the legality of proposed strikes on civilian boats, the Justice Department's Office of Legal Counsel this summer produced a classified opinion intended to shield service members up and down the chain of command for prosecution, according to the 3 government officials. The military members know this is illegal, and they are telling the civilian side of the executive branch. The executive branch runs the military. They are civilians, and the military is telling the civilians, this is illegal. We are murdering people who are innocent. Those people on those boats, even if there's drugs in those boats, have those people been convicted of a crime in a court by a jury of their peers? No, that means they're innocent. You are innocent until proven guilty. So we are killing innocent people. And they know it. The military knows it. The executive knows it too. They just like it. They enjoy that part. They really do enjoy that whole killing innocent people part because they're foreign people. You're allowed to kill foreign people, right? So the military says we're killing innocent people and we don't like that. And so the executive branch, the Department of War, put together a memo that says, nah, it's okay because we're not shooting the people, we're shooting the drugs. The legal theory advanced in the finding, two sources said, differs from some of President Donald Trump's public statements on the killings. It claims that narcotics on the boats are lawful military targets because their cargo generates revenue for cartels, whom the Donald Trump administration claims are in an armed conflict with the U.S. So we're not shooting the people. We're not shooting the boats. We're shooting the narcotics. We drop bombs on narcotics. That is, according to them, legal justification. That's a narcotic. Drop a bomb on it. Anybody standing near the drugs is just, collateral damage. Extra. Some sort of shield. Not our responsibility. We can't be held responsible for that. It's bad and it's stupid and I hate it. And I wish it weren't true. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to keep on with this. And then we're going to go to war with Venezuela because we are killing Venezuelan civilians. That's what we're doing. And it wouldn't be easy because Donnie has talked about it being easy, and it's not going to be easy. No, Venezuela is not a small Latin American country. And talk of a quick invasion and easy regime change is dangerously misleading. because Donald doesn't know anything. That's my theme for today. Donnie doesn't know. It could make a pretty good song. Donnie doesn't know. Donnie doesn't know. Over the past few months, the United States has embarked on a controversial maritime campaign in the Caribbean Sea and Eastern Pacific, targeting small Venezuelan and Colombian vessels alleged to be engaged in drug smuggling under an asserted narco-terrorist deterrence operation in the United States, and has thus far carried out 19 lethal strikes on small boats in international waters, killing at least 76 people. So that's 76 murders that Donnie has had the Department of War do, all undertaken without the transparency, oversight, or legal foundation that normally governs the use of American force. The Trump administration insists that these long-needed and decisive counter-narcotics operations, but UN human rights experts warn that the strikes may amount to extrajudicial executions. And I think that is the right thing to call them, extrajudicial. That is the thing that Donald Trump does, extrajudicial. He does it outside the normal channels. That's what he's doing with immigration right now. That's what he's doing with ICE. They're outside the regular legal bounds. These bombs are outside the regular legal stuff. And when you start creating extrajudicial stuff, you'll start to create an extrajudicial system, a separate system. They did this in Nazi Germany. They had extrajudicial judges who would determine whether or not you were faithful to the country. And if you weren't, they killed you. They have to be extra kind of judgmental. Yeah, they're extrajudicial. That doesn't make it better. That doesn't mean better. It means worse. It means outside of the normal process. And allies within the territory and citizens in the Caribbean are raising alarm about legal exposure, civilian risk, and regional instability, with the USS Gerald Ford carrier strike group near to arriving on station at President Trump's threatening hundreds more strikes. So we've only done like 17 so far, right? And we've killed 76 people. We're going to do hundreds more. This mission looks less like enhanced interdiction and more like the very early shaping operations of a regime change in Venezuela. Some Americans might be prone to normalize this drift, casually framing Venezuela as a small Latin American country and the United States can coerce or remake at will. But before doing that, it might be worthwhile to review the kinds of things that most military analysts will assess before planning this type of operation, especially since the U.S. military has undertaken many regime change missions in the last few years. And those always go well, don't they? All that new regime change is just so much fun. It's so easy and so profitable. We all love regime change wars because they all go so well. To begin with, Venezuela is not a small, simple, and not susceptible to quick, low-cost military outcomes. In geographic and demographic terms alone, Venezuela is enormous. It covers 882,000 square kilometers, making it substantially larger than Ukraine or Texas. Its population, estimated to be 31 million people, is roughly equivalent to the wartime Ukraine or modern Texas. So it's about the size of Texas. Okay. It is a country of sprawling mountains, dense cities, jungles, and industrial corridors where military infrastructure sits interlaced with civilian life. So they are well entrenched. Man, this will not go well for us. Caracas, Maracaibo, Valencia, and other urban centers are not surgical strike zones. They are vast megacities where any attempt to dismantle regime capabilities from the air risks substantial civilian casualties and cascading regional effects. Donnie doesn't care about civilian casualties. He really doesn't. Neither does Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth wants war and death. He wants it. I'm telling you, he wants to kill some motherfuckers. He is finally in a position of power, and he's going to use that power to hurt non-Americans. A few commentators on cable news shows eagerly portray the U.S. Military action as simple and manageable, have taken to comparing a possible operation in Venezuela to Operation Just Cause in 1989, invasion of Panama to seize General Manuel Noriega. The analogy is dangerously misleading. That's because Panama in 1989 had a population of 2.5 million, spread over 75,000 miles, smaller than the state of South Carolina. The entire country of Panama would be enveloped and dominated by a single U.S. Corps level operation, which is what occurred. And drug kingpin Noriega commanded a small, brittle, and corrupt force that collapsed almost immediately. The Panama Canal Zone gave the United States pre-positioned forces, infrastructure, bases, and a finely tuned understanding of the terrain. The objectives: seize Noriega, protect the canal, and dismantle the Panamanian defense forces were narrowly defined and achievable. That's the other issue. When you do this kind of stuff, you have to have a goal. get this guy, protect this place, dismantle this force. None of that will happen in Venezuela. None of it. Just the way it didn't happen in Afghanistan or Iraq. And that's why it took so long. We didn't have goals. Venezuela shares none of those characteristics. It's nearly 30 times larger. Urban density, and the regime has spent years preparing for this exact kind of irregular resistance the United States now risks provoking. So they have the ability to hang out in the jungle and take pot shots at any troops, American troops. They have an insurgency ready to go. There is no doubt that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government is corrupt, but it has also dispersed command nodes into hardened or concealed locations, embedded military assets within civilian infrastructure, and empowered paramilitary groups capable of shifting into guerrilla warfare. This will be awful. No serious planner could look at a map of Venezuela and believe it resembles Panama in scale, complexity, or political risk. If we go to war with them, and Donnie wants to, Pete Hegseth wants war. He wants to hurt people that are not American so that you will feel like he is a hero. His feelings matter more than any economic data, more than any other thing that you could bring to the table, more than any fact. His feelings need to be substantiated. He needs you to cheer for him as a hero. He needs you and the rest of the American people to talk about how brave a boy he is. His feelings are why we will go to war. His feelings of fear, his feelings of aliens coming into his country and taking over the things in a burrito truck on every corner makes him feel nervous and bad. He dislikes those feelings. And that is why he hates everyone who isn't straight white Christian male. He hates them. Most conservatives do. They have hate and spite in their heart, and they hide it behind patriotism, behind America first, behind kicking out all the immigrants. And they broke the law, the immigration laws. Horseshit. They wrote those laws to keep these people out. And you can't keep people out. Stopping people from migrating is fucking impossible. Human beings migrated before borders were invented. It is human nature to leave the bad place that doesn't have any resources and go to the good place that has more resources. That's just human beings. That's primate behavior. You cannot draw a line in the sand and write a law in a law book to stop that. It's nonsense. But tribalism is also a part of that primate behavior. And Pete Hegseth has a tribe. It's straight, white, cis men. That's his tribe. And his tribe needs a win. They do. They've been getting beat up by woke for such a long time that they need to kill some brown people in another country. And that is why he's doing it, for feelings of safety, feelings of fear, feelings of alienation. Those feelings are why he's doing what he's doing. And if he tells you that it's a fact, it's not. He tells you facts don't care about your feelings. That's the biggest lie that conservatives have ever told. That facts don't care about your feelings. It's true, the facts don't care about your feelings, but they're not the party of facts. They're not. He doesn't have facts that these are drug boats. He has guesstimates that these are drug boats. He assumes by looking at through a drone camera that boat is carrying narcotics. And it might be. But the right thing to do is stop them, arrest them, put them in jail. And then prosecute them and then put them in jail. Not just drop a hellfire missile on them and then claim the victory, because that's what he's done. And we want their oil. That's the other damn thing. It's just all about money. Money. It's all about money, SpongeBob, my boy. It's always about money. It's always about money. They want that Venezuelan oil so that they can sell it for a profit to themselves. Take somebody else's resources and sell it for your profit. That is empire right there. That's the American empire. Take someone else's resources and sell it for your own profit. And if they get uppity and tell you no, you bomb them. until they say, please stop bombing us. And then you'll be like, okay, well, give us all the oil. And then, okay, because Donnie said this about Iraq. Donnie said this about Iraq in 2002. He said, go into Iraq, bomb the hell out of them, and then take the oil. We take the oil, we sell the oil, we make a profit. He talked about this. That's the feelings of greed. As again, that's another human feeling. Feelings of greed, feelings of need, feelings of building their empire is what we got. Because all politics are based on feelings. And everything is political. I appreciate everyone who's here today. Thanks very much. I'm about to call it off for today. I know I was a little bit late, but maybe that gets some people in that don't usually come in. I don't know. I will, let's see, what am I doing this week? I will be back on this coming Wednesday, 7 o'clock PST, West Coast time. But if you want to know when I'm streaming, you can do that. You can see that at the Discord. So what I do is if I'm not going to be there, I post it on the Discord. Boop, 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 paste, go. There's the Discord. Go on over there. Tell everyone hello. Argue with somebody. Leave links. I'll bring them up on screen. The one about that first video that we watched today was left by any of it in the public stream links channel. Also, there are adorable dog photos in the Bobo the Baby Bark Boy channel. You go there. You can look at adorable Baby Bark Boy channels. He is not up here right now. He's probably sleeping. He had a big day. But I take photos of him and I put them up there, and you can take photos of your Bark Boys and put them in there. No cats, though. I'm kidding. I don't know what the internet coming for me. I just like dogs better. And if you like cats better, yeah, I mean, you're allowed to be wrong. It's America. You're free to be wrong. That's it for me today. I appreciate everyone who's here. Thank you very much. I'll be back on Wednesday, West Coast time, unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag.